I'll never forget the moment I opened my eyes, certain I had slipped into another world. The sheets beneath me felt softer than clouds. The quiet rhythm of beeping machines wrapped around me like a lullaby, and for the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't in pain. My first thought was confusion. Where was I? How had I gotten here after being left alone on that freezing sidewalk, discarded like I didn't matter? The door opened and a man stepped in. Not in a suit like you'd expect from someone powerful, but in a plain shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows like he'd been here longer than he should have. His eyes caught mine, warm, steady kind, and he said two words I hadn't heard in so long. "You're safe." He introduced himself as Michael. Not with pride or arrogance, but with the gentle certainty of someone who wanted me to believe it. I couldn't hold back the question. My voice cracked as I whispered, "Why? Why did you help me?" He didn't even pause, because no one else did. That answer cut straight through me. My husband, Adam, the man who swore to love me through sickness, had tossed me aside the second I became a burden. His mistress, Camille, had smirked as if my suffering was amusing. Strangers had stepped over me without care. Yet this man, a billionaire who owed me nothing, had chosen to stop, to care. In that moment, something fragile sparked back to life inside me. Hope. The days turned into weeks. Nurses checked my progress. Meals arrived hot and nourishing, and slowly the mirror stopped reflecting a ghost. My skin wasn't gray anymore. The ache in my bones eased, and each morning I found myself waiting for Michael's quiet knock at the door. He'd come in with that same gentle smile, asking, "How are you feeling today?" Not with pity, not with impatience, but with genuine concern. One evening I finally asked what had been burning in my chest. "You don't even know me. Why do you care so much?" He leaned back, thoughtful, his voice steady. "Because I've seen too many people thrown away when they needed love the most. Money can't fix everything, but kindness, it can change a life." And that's when it hit me. Adam had abandoned me because he saw me as useless, a liability. Yet Michael, with more wealth than I could fathom, was telling me I was worth saving simply because I was human. The bitterness in me began to crack just enough for light to slip through. Weeks later, the doctor told me I'd soon be strong enough to leave. The word home felt like a cruel joke. I didn't have one anymore. Adam had made sure of that. My parents were gone, and friends had drifted away when my illness grew too heavy. I wanted to crumble, but Michael must have sensed it. After the doctor left, he said softly, "You don't have to go back to anything that broke you. Stay here at least until you find your feet." No one had ever said that to me before, not without expecting something in return. I couldn't even look him in the eye. My lips trembled as I whispered, "Thank you." The day I left the hospital, I didn't go back to the old apartment where Adam had sneered at me, where Camille's perfume still lingered in the curtains. Instead, I walked into Michael's mansion, a place that looked like a palace, marble floors, sunlight streaming through tall windows, gardens blooming like they'd been painted by God himself. Yet what struck me most wasn't the wealth. It was the peace. His home felt alive, not empty. Life there didn't make me feel helpless. It gave me back my rhythm. Each morning, birdsong greeted me. The staff respected me, never pitying me. Most nights I ended up in Michael's library, him sipping tea, me scribbling in a journal. At first it was just notes, then it was anger at Adam, gratitude for Michael, fears I hadn't said out loud. Writing became a mirror, helping me piece myself back together. Our conversation shifted too. At first lighthearted, the weather book's silly news stories. Then deeper. He told me about losing his parents young, building his empire from nothing. I told him about the moment Adam abandoned me, how it felt to be tossed onto the street like trash. His jaw tightened, his eyes dark with anger, not at me but at the cruelty I endured. "You deserve so much better," he said, conviction heavy in his voice, and for the first time I believed it. Little by little I noticed the small things, how Michael slowed his pace, so I wouldn't feel rushed, how roses appeared in the garden, just because I once mentioned loving them, how his laughter filled the silence and made my chest ache in a good way. And sometimes his eyes lingered on me just a little too long, protective, steady, like he was holding me together without touching me. The night it all shifted, a storm rattled the windows. Thunder rolled, lightning cracked the sky, but I wasn't afraid I'd faced worse. I stood by the glass and suddenly he was beside me. "You're not scared, are you?" he asked. "Not of storms," I said quietly. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was thick, charged. His hand reached for mine, steady and warm, grounding me. "I never expected this," he whispered, "but I care for you. I don't just want to help you recover. I want to give you a future, if you'll let me." My heart thudded so hard, I thought he might hear it. Tears burned my eyes. After all I'd lost, after Adam crushed every piece of me, could someone like him really want me? My voice shook. "I don't know if I'm ready, but I care for you too." From that night, the air between us was different. Love grew, not flashy, not rushed, but steady, like roses blooming in spring. Months later, under those same roses, Michael knelt with a ring that caught the sunlight and said, "You were once abandoned, but I vow you'll never feel that way again. Will you marry me?" The woman once left to die in the street was now being asked to be cherished for life. My tears streamed as I whispered, "Yes, Michael, yes." But while my life was blooming, Adam's was collapsing. After he abandoned me, he dove into Camille's arms, convinced she was his reward for escaping me. For a while, it was glittering dinners, expensive trips, the illusion of love. But Camille had her own plan. Slowly, she drained his accounts, manipulated him into investments that only benefited her. By the time Adam realized the accounts were empty, the cars sold, the house locked behind new codes. She was gone along with every cent. Panic replaced pride. His credit maxed, bills piled high, rejection followed him at every job interview. He who once mocked me for being weak now found himself humbled, desperate, begging for menial work. One rainy afternoon, soaked and starving, Adam stumbled down a street and stopped in front of a mansion with gates guarded by men in crisp uniforms. Hope flickered. Maybe they needed a driver, a janitor, anything. He stepped forward. "Are you hiring?" But then his eyes lifted and froze. I stood on the steps, strong, radiant laughter spilling as Michael's arm rested protectively around me. Adam's knees buckled. Time seemed to mock him. The woman he left to die was thriving, loved, untouchable. He fell into the mud, voice breaking. "Samantha, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I was a fool." I looked at him, my hand tightening in Michael's. My voice was calm, almost gentle. "You threw me away to die, and now you stand here broken, begging. Do you finally see what you lost?" His tears mixed with rain. "Yes, I lost everything." The storm raged around us as I stood steady. "Karma has a way of balancing the scales," I said softly. "I hope you understand the cost of your actions now." Michael's grip was firm, his presence unshakable beside me. Adam's cries echoed into the night, swallowed by thunder, and I realized fully my story had been rewritten. Once abandoned and forgotten, now alive, loved, and stronger than ever. The lesson: betrayal feels powerful in the moment, but cruelty never wins. Compassion, resilience, and love outlast greed, arrogance, and selfishness every time. But here's what I want to ask you. What do you think? Should someone like Adam be forgiven if they realize their mistake too late? Or is it justice that he suffers the consequences of his own choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe karma always balances the scales? Or do people sometimes escape it? Let's talk about it. Because in the end, stories like this aren't just about pain or revenge. They're about survival, self-worth, and the power of second chances. And sometimes, the biggest victory is simply rising higher than anyone ever expected you to.